your eyes for a minute. Close your eyes for a second.
Hi, Posh fam. Very quickly, I do not know, has anyone upgraded to the latest iOS software? I think the 26 point something, if I'm not mistaken. To be honest, I don't know. This is too much for me. It's like there's too much going on with this particular upgrade that I am not exactly feeling it. I feel like it's too smooth and I don't like it. I want to go back to what I was used to. It was working very well. So I'm not sure why they needed to fix what wasn't broken. But anyways, besides my rant, let's get into the shenanigans. I mean, shenanigans that went down with the last episode, which pretty much the penultimate episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. So guys, if you have not yet subscribed, I do not know what you're waiting for. Married at First Sight Australia is about to hit our screens. I am going to try and run commentary. See, I'm going to try. It's try. However, if you're not subscribed, I don't know if I want to do it. So I need more followers to give me the oomph, encourage me to get this going. And if that's you, that's still thinking about subscribing, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the notification bell, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends. Come on the comment section. Tell me what you like to see more of me and tell me what you would like to change. And with that said, far out, guys. The penultimate episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 10 was a shit show. This particular episode is going to go down in history as the worst. This is now infamous of the girls' trip. Now, I could understand the theme behind the Real Housewives franchise. And if there's anything that I know, the girls' trip are now infamous. Like, we all look forward to having to watch these women go on vacation. And that is why Bravo has now decided to have a new franchise or a new series having Ultimate Girls' Trip, taking women from different franchise, from different cities to go on an ultimate girls trip. And so it tells you how important the vacations are in this particular culture or the dynamics of reality TV when it comes to the Real Housewives. And so for Angel to get it all wrong, it was an epic fail. Now I am thinking, maybe she was sabotaged. But now I'm looking back, the first day in Colorado, the second day in Colorado was probably 3 nights in Colorado. And you could have understood, okay, something is amiss. How do I fix it? Or was production hell bent on, sabotaging her trip? And I'm telling myself, why? Because this is her first season, right? And so I would think production would support her, like baby her, to get this a success. And so for this to turn out an epic flop, like failure of a spectacular proportion, says a lot about Angel's logistical nightmare. Now, we would say, okay, this is a one-hit wonder, but when you then sell this as a business, it is even worse than a failure. How do we rate it? I've actually heard on a side note that people are now going on her new business a webpage to write crazy ass review. Now, please guys, I don't think it's fair to bring this woman business down. I can understand the frustration. If you haven't been, please don't go on her webpage based off of a few edited takes from this particular episode. But I will say this. Angel, you had the platform. This was free publicity. You had nothing to lose but all to gain. Now, at the start of the season, you introduced us, and before you did introduce us to your family, you talked about your business. It is one thing to say, okay, my husband, who's a football player, an NFL football player, we are a traveling family, we pretty much live suitcase to suitcase. But then you sold Colorado as your home. And so I would think someone that has lived in Colorado for a while would have her ways around the city. If not that, given her status as a football wife, would have a logistical team, an excellent logistical team behind her, working behind the scenes to make this business of her launch, this particular new business launch, a success, using this platform as a boost. My girl, I am not sure what you read. I am not sure what you were told, but this was an epic failure. We talked about you catfishing your personality, your character, your looks. You got them catfished your business, and we don't even know who, what, and where it's at. Now, do you know the nursery rhyme that goes, the wheels on the bus go round and round? It was like, Angel and the buttermilk ladies went round and round all day long. To make matters worse, production left this particular countdown clock, and that gave me PTSD for real. Now let's talk. There wasn't a lot of talking point. Like I said, the wheels on the bus went round and round for pretty much 5 hours, obviously edited to 45 minutes. And at the end of it, I was like, oh my God, did I just go through that nightmare? Now imagine what the girls went through who were in it, lived it. Like I said, I am like literally going back. So Angel introduced us to herself, her family, and, introduced us to Colorado, how Colorado was a special place. They were thinking about moving to Potomac, but obviously they were going to maintain Colorado as a home base, given the fact that they have this tour business, going. And the way she sold it, it felt like it was an already existing business. And so to think that this particular soft launch, this particular episode that showed her hosting this trip was a soft launch to her tour business. Now, I haven't been to America, but I know one city I probably will not be going to, and that's Colorado. Because if you move all the trains, the mountains, the altitude, I mean, I don't have a BBL, but Kiana's BBL, does she have one? It got to the point where she was unable to sit. That was how much of this is of a circus it was. Wendell said from private jet to a gas station, it was an epic, disastrous fail. What we call a logistical nightmare, it was a logistical nightmare. Now, I would think this was the moment for, like a touchdown for Angel. I mean, the technology, her husband is a foodie player. This was the one moment she had the ball. There was the goal right in front of her, literally 5 meters away from her. All she needed to do was probably crawl to that and touch down. She couldn't even achieve the bare minimum. And so I'm thinking, 2 or 3 episodes prior, she was talking about heading back to Colorado to plan this trip. And so what exactly did she plan? Because you telling me that you were going days ahead, even though we all know you got evicted, you had ample time to make up a team, work with your team in your business to spearhead this particular trip, given how much of a failure the season has been for you, as this was only going to be the one touchdown that will change the game. You couldn't even achieve that, Angel. As much as I have been on the fence with the way the girls came out, especially Giselle, honestly, it's justified. It is justified. So this particular episode kicked off with the girls still in Aspen, the hat shop, because they sold that particular hat shop. Now, like I said in my last take, I said she took them to Aspen, said this is her playground, and couldn't even take them to a restaurant that she goes to with her husband. Took them to a restaurant that she had no idea what the menu was. She had not even been. Then flaunted and yelled about Kimosabe, only to find that Kimosabe was literally like a Gucci place where you go to just shop. And I'm like, is this what this chick is flaunting? Leather goods? leather goods. Half of the ladies didn't even buy. Those that bought spent, the minimum was like maybe probably $100. I am stretching, guys. I am stretching this. It was a nightmare. So when they eventually, the highlight for that trip was pretty much Mauricio coming to save the day, with Giselle rejecting Angel and, Ashley and Stacy pretty much flirting till the sun went down. And so it got to the point where they had to make a decision, as Giselle felt this particular girl's trip was now a nightmare in the making. She was going to take on the reins and change the trajectory of the trip. But guess what? Angel, double toe down, 10 foot down, triple foot down, was hell-bent on completing the nightmare she had kicked off. And she said, no, you're going to have it my way. It was either my way or the highway. We're not doing what you're doing, Giselle. The only conjecture was, okay, the girls are going to have to change accommodation because, as we all know, it was below standard. Like, even third world country would not be presenting such a standard. Ask Giselle, Stacy, who felt it was a fundamental, basic right for an American to have. Well, I cannot agree here. And so the consensus grudgingly went for the girls were all then going to stay at the Four Seasons when they get back to Colorado from Aspen. And the decision was they were going to have a fly fishing, whatever that is, a fly fishing expedition, courtesy with the Wonderland business co-owned by Angel and her husband. And then they had a flight to catch at exactly 1,400 hours. So it was, how are they going to accomplish? I knew in my head, okay, maybe, because given the fact that this particular trip had been consumed by literally road trips. So there was the group dynamic was shattered because the girls spent 98% of their time on the road. If it was the 5 hours drive from the crappy Airbnb space to Angel's house and back, and then the long drive to the airport to Aspen, and the long drive back, it was pretty much a logistical disaster of epic proportion. Now, so the girls went back on their private jet. Like I said, it was the highlights for this particular, the PJ. You know what? At least it cost $8,000 worth of piece. That was the highlight, and that the fact that the girls were able to have their private jet coming right on time, and it wasn't delayed, and there was food on board, because that's probably the only food they had when they landed. And so the girls landed, went straight to the Four Seasons. Everyone had a room. Angel agreed to stay over at the Four Seasons, but guess what? By the next morning, Angel, Tia, and Kiana had done a runner. They did not spend the night in the hotel. They decided they were going to go back to Angel's house. Now, I want to say something. And this is shame on Tia. Tia, from the end of this particular episode, we hear Angel has bought a place, a $2 million property in Potomac. But guess what? Tia wasn't the realtor for that one. So all of that commission hobnobbing you were trying to do, Tia, it didn't really pay off. What happened? What happened, girl? What happened? But moving on, the next morning, obviously the girl had a night. They had a time. I think they had a pajama session or pajama play date, if I'm not mistaken. And they had a lot, to drink. They had a lot of fun. And so the next morning, the decision was they were now going to head down to the fly fishing expedition. From there, they were then going to head back to the airport and on their way back to Maryland. And this is where things got mucky. Like I said, there wasn't much content. It's just me giving you my opinion as to what a logistical nightmare this particular episode was. And pretty much has taken a dent on Angel's soft launch of her tour business. And so I guess you would think Angel, given the fact that she is the one hosting these ladies, had organized the chef to go into the bush, somewhere in the forest in Colorado, for this fly fishing expedition to prepare lunch huge stake. If there wasn't a sign, guys, let's just go here. During the course of the meal preparation, the spit broke apart. And in my head, I'm like, this is a sign that things are not going to go well. So those guys were already there getting things ready with a few hiccups, which they managed to fix, but they were still getting ready. And all we could see was Angel, Kiana, and Tia, driving to the supposed location for the fly fishing. Now, this is a trip you organized, you planned. This is an expedition that your business runs, you planned. You did all of the legwork on. And guess what? Angel had no knowledge of where the location for this fly fishing expedition was. I know. Let me repeat that. So Angel organized this, right? Got the girls on a car to head to this particular event, but Angel had no clue where they were going to. And so the wheels on the bus went round and round and round into a ditch and came out from the ditch, and they could not locate where they were meant to have this particular fly fishing event. For 5 good hours, they were on the road trying to locate the hotspot. Now, this is Angel. Now, let's switch back to the other girls, because as you know, this is not their turf. They were just going with the Google Map direction that they were given. They kept on driving. Cabin fever set in. That it got Stacy and Jazzy to have a moment on the chef, and this was pretty much the highlight of the episode. We're gonna get into the shenanigans that was Jazzy and Stacy, as well as Wendy, adding a bit of fossil fuel to the fire. So Stacy wanted to reprimand Jazzy for exchanging numbers with Clarice. Like, of all things, are we in kindergarten? Like, these are adult women struggling for best friends. Like, if you are my best friend, you cannot ask another friends for their number. I'm like, oh my God, say it isn't so. And Jazzy's like, well, I'm getting to know this girl, so I'm allowed to have her number. Besides, my husband is an NFL player. Her ex-husband was an NFL player. We've got something in common. Go away. And Stacey was like, yeah, if you want to be my friend, you have to not have her number. And this was where it went left, because Wendy then brought up, or Jazzy wanted to know what happened, or the situation surrounding Stacey's reluctance, or should I say nonchalance, in attending her wedding gig. Now, we all saw that play out, clear as day. But as you know, Stacey is never one not to lie her way out of everything. And until Wendy came out to say, Stacey, you did not want to attend. You only attended or rearranged your schedule when you found out that we were going, because you thought cameras were not going to film that wedding. And so for you, it was a non-factor. And that was where hell broke loose, because this friendship was tested right during this drive. I'm pretty sure I felt for the driver, because it was like, what is going on? They eventually went round and round and round in circles and ended up at a gas station, hungry, dizzy, tired, cranky, grumpy, all the words. And they were able to get pizza. Now, these are expensive women getting gas station pizza. Stacey threw a few tantrums. She took her luggage. I'm like, Stacey, even the driver has no clue where you guys are going to. You don't live in Colorado, and here you are trying to run away. Like, you're gonna get lost. Coyote is gonna get you. Maybe the dingoes from Australia might come get you, or the mountain lions. They will be coming for your ass. You better get your little butt back into the car. Until, it took a minute for Wendy to walk up to her and just have her understand a few reasons while she is not breaking grounds with the other ladies. And it's safe to say that I don't think Stacey is ever going to understand the capacity or the magnitude of her lies and how it is impacting the dynamics of her friendship. Now, this is where they finally decided to call the host to understand where they were, because they were during the countdown clock by the production team. They were pretty much 2 hours, and they were in the middle of nowhere. 2 hours to their plane ride in the middle of nowhere, having driven for over 5 hours. So it was going to take a couple of hours to get to the to get to the airport to be on the next scheduled flight back home. And so they had to call it, and that was cancel the expedition. Angel was crying and bawling her eyes out. Kiana couldn't even sit anymore because her ass was on fire. I have no words. I absolutely have no words. Now, I would think this is where it ended, but guess what? They had to get carried out of jail so fast, because I guess after the girls got back to Potomac, they were like, hell to the no, are we going to be shooting with Angel anymore? Like, we are done. And I'm pretty sure Angel was like, I ain't coming back after this epic embarrassment that I have dealt myself. I ain't coming back to film. So they had to get carried out of jail to save the day. And so this is where this particular episode ended. We saw Karen being released very early from her 12-month stint in jail. And obviously we're going to have a sit down with Andy and Karen to talk about her experience and how all of this has impacted her, and to the capacity, or to what capacity she's going to be coming back next season, which I really cannot wait. Like, we should be done. The reunion's like done. We're done. But I am looking forward to next episode to have this particular sit down with Karen Huger. And that's it, folks. Come on the comment section. I want you to share your heartfelt opinion on this particular logistical nightmare that was the Colorado girls trip. It was everything for Angel to gain, and Angel served on a platter to failure. Now, I don't know, was production in on this? Did production really did Angel want to get her to sabotage this? I don't know. Come on in the comment section, share your thought, guys. And that is it, folks. I'll catch up with you guys soon. And remember, you are the Zevin. Stay safe, guys.